welcome to Algebra 1/2. We are talking about lesson 45 today, the division rule for equations. And this is a very simple rule. So we already know that from what we've looked at, that when you multiply an equation by its reciprocal, that will cancel out the coefficient of your equation. For example, if you have 1/3 x, to cancel out that 1/3, you multiply it by its reciprocal. And whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. Keeping that in mind, look up here at my blue numbers. I have 20 divided by 4 equals 5. We know that that's true. We also know that 1/4 times 20 equals 5. So notice that when we divide by a number, that's the same answer as multiplying by its reciprocal. So dividing by 4 is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of 4, which is 1/4. So since we've already learned multiplying by the reciprocal, that shows us the rule for division. When we divide by a number, we can cancel out the coefficient and we're able to get our answer. This is something that you really learned before you learned about multiplying by the reciprocal when you were in 6th grade math and basic math. So I have 4x equals 3. To get rid of that 4, last time we talked about how you would multiply by the reciprocal of 4, multiply both sides by 1/4. But today we're seeing that that's the same as dividing by 4. So we can use that rule interchangeably, whichever way is easiest in that particular equation. So in this one, the easiest thing is just to divide both sides, by 4. And I get x equals 3/4. I put 3/4 back in place of x, so that means I have 4 times 3/4 equals 3. My 4's cancel. 3 equals 3, so x equals 3/4. All right, let's try another problem. Here I have n times 0.04 equals 28. Since I'm multiplying by 0.04, I'm going to divide by 0.04 to solve my problem. Okay, my marker is dying, so I'm going to switch over. Okay, you might see that the lighting is getting dimmer and then coming back again. That's because we were losing power and then we got the power back. So, no, you're not going crazy if you feel like my lights are dimming. So there we are. Okay, let me try this again with a darker marker so you can see it. All right, we're going to divide both sides by 0.04. So that cancels out my 0.04. When I divide, remember I have to move my decimal point over, so there's no decimal point in what I'm dividing, which means I have to move it over here. So I'm really now dividing 2,800 by 4. 4 goes into 28 7 times, 0, 0, so n equals 700. Put 700 back in place of n in order to check it. Okay, 4 times 7 is 28, so that would be 2,800, but I have my decimal point right here, so I move my decimal point 2 places, and that gives me 28 equals 28. So my problem checks, n equals 700. Now I know I went through this problem really fast, so make sure that you study that in your book. If you are confused at all about moving the decimal point and dividing like that, let me know and I would be happy to help you to make sure that that is something that you fully understand. But if you say, oh no, Miss Ashley, I got moving decimal points, we're good to go, then don't worry about it. All right? But if you at all feel confused, please tell me. I want to make sure that you feel like you fully understand. All right, let's try one more problem. I have 1/3 x equals 4/5. Well, here to divide by 1/3 is a little bit counterproductive because when we divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So we're going to go ahead and say that we're multiplying by the reciprocal. So in this situation, that's the easier one to choose. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. So this cancels out. So I'm left with x. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. x equals 12 fifths. I'll check it by putting 12 fifths in place of x. Okay? So I have 12. 1 times 12 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. Equals 4 fifths. The greatest common factor for 12 and 15 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 4 fifths equals 4 fifths. My problem checks. So 12 fifths is the correct answer. All right, go ahead and pause now to do your practice. Okay, you should be back. You have 3 answers for your practice. Letter A is 700. You may have noticed it was the very same problem as this one right here. I hope that you actually did it and didn't just copy down the answer. Letter B, x equals 15. And letter C, x equals 10 over 9. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about these problems. This is our last algebra lesson before Christmas vacation. We do still have one more math video next week that I'll be sending out, but this is the last algebra video before we have Christmas vacation. So I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas. Feliz Navidad.